everyone, and welcome to the WhotKnot studio. So this is going to be a flip through of my recently finished journal, and this journal has already been purchased, so this is just a flip through so that you can see what I came up with here. So I've already taken the bow off just so that it wouldn't be fiddly to do, so this beautiful ribbon would be wrapped around the middle of it. And you can have either one as the front, but I'm calling this the front. And I've got a few elements here, so I've done a bit of stitching. This image is actually from a Valentine, so underneath here it said something about the Valentine, but I actually just liked the image of the little child, so I've done a little bit of ruffling, and I've got my little handmade, I'll just hold that up so you can see it there, the handmade, little bronze handmade thing with the stitching through it. And I've got some beads here that I've put together. They're vintage, sort of from a necklace that I picked up. And these pieces are also from a necklace. This disc I made with, it's a piece of cardboard, and I put some wadding on it and then just covered it with some beautiful linen fabric. So, yeah, that's how that's looking. So then we open up the front, and I've got a little bit of lace trim there, and I've got a little tight pocket at the front here, and there's a couple of little sweet images, and I've made a tag there that has journaling space on the back, and this particular image has got a little girl sitting there reading, and she's got a little dog and a cat. So, yep, I'll just start flipping through. Got the childhood memories there, and that flips out. A couple of bit of vintage knitting paper. I love that little girl, and she's got a little I think it's like a little ferret in her pocket there. So she's super cute. And this is a little bit of trim from a vintage doily. Then we've got another pocket here, and I've made another tag. So there's a tag in there, and it's, as I said, all child related. So I've really honed in on those sorts of things. A little bit of vintage wallpaper. Got a little mini journal here with some pages in it that can be written on. And I've trimmed that with some vintage fabric that I have coffee dyed there. So, yeah. Over to the next page here. That sweet little girl saying her prayers. And then I've got a little flip out here, a tab flip out, and that's got a little vellum pocket there. And those two little girls doing their gardening, picking grapes and things. And I've got another pocket here, and I've used some vintage fabric, and I've got these beautiful cards, and that little girl's got her bloomers and her little angel wings on, and it says patience. So she's a sweet little thing. And then that's the centre page with some beautiful roses. There's a little secret envelope there that's got a few little bits and pieces in it. And then we've got another pocket here, which I've used some vintage fabric, and that's got the two cards in it. So you've got that little card with those two little sweet children on it, and that says innocence. And one of my jigsaw puzzle pieces that I've jazzed up. So there's that one. And just in here, there is a little secret pocket, and that is holding a little mini journal. So I won't open that all up, but that's just sitting in there. with some more vintage lace along this edge, and some more book page. I've got another little tuck spot here, and I've got some vintage fabric again, and this has got some lovely little children's clothing on it, so that's really sweet. And that picture of the little girl feeding the puppies, so that's there. And another little tuck spot here, and that's holding like a little secret piece of paper that can be journaled on. Some of the paint swatches there. Just slide that back in. There we go. And I've just stuck that in there because I just thought that was really sweet, and it's just a little like a little serviette, and it's got a little bunny on it, so that's there. And that's the back of the first section of the flip. So I'll just flip that over, and I mean, this could also be the front. Again, I've got a little bead here. It's got a little bronze leaf on it, a little vintage button. There's the leaf. Vintage button and some vintage lace, and a lovely image of a little girl listening to a story that her mum's reading to her. And in this section here, I've got a tag that I've made with some more vintage lace there on the front of the tag, and this is another little tag, and it's got a printable on it of a little dress, which I think is really cute. And I've got a little bit of linen there from a doily that I've coffee stained, and another piece of vintage fabric that I've got in my stash. So I've just pinned that there. I'll just take this little pin off to show you in this section. I'll put that back on later. So here I've got a couple of little bronze roses, and there's another little tuck spot here with a few little bits and pieces in. And then there's a little girl there on her merry-go-round. So, and then this flips open, and there's quite a large area there for some journaling, if you like. And moving right along, we've got another little floral card there. I've got another little tuck spot here with a few bits and pieces. And this has got actually got two pieces of the vintage lace there on the front there. Done a bit of a ruffle. There's bits of lace and things like that throughout. And this is like a flip out, and then there's a little cluster of pages there to write on. And that little girl, sweet little face, and that's a flip out with a couple of little things tucked in a little pocket there. Another little flip out, and a little tuck spot here with a little bit of painting and things like that. More lace, and then there's a secret little spot there for some journaling just in the side there. And on the back here we've got this sweet little girl with her kitten in a little tuck spot. Vintage embroidery paper there, and I've made a little spot there, some little birds. So this is the centre of this side of the journal, and I've got a few cards that I've made there with bits and pieces on. And there's a card, and that's got the Queen as a little girl with some fabric and things, and there's a little poem in the back there about children. And I've done some photocopying of some of the patterns that I picked up at the op shop the other week, some of the vintage patterns, and I've printed that onto a linen paper, so that feels really nice. Another little tuck spot there on that vintage paper. That's to make some little smock dresses. And Another little tuck spot there. That's a piece of German dictionary page, and I've painted a little rose onto that. Little cutie doing her washing. And that's a Sam Poole printable just tucked in there of a little girl's dress. And I've got just a lovely piece of, it's an embroidered lace, and there's a vintage pattern in there to make some children's bloomers. That's a little printable. That's a sweet little image there. And there's some coffee stain paper that I've made. This is also avocado stain that I did the other day onto a square doily. And just tucked in the back there is a piece of vintage stationery, children's stationery for letter writing. So I've got that just tucked in the back there. And that's the end. That's it. And then back to the beginning. So that's the flip through of my recently finished journal. And there was quite a few bits and pieces that I would have liked to have added into it, but you just run out of room after a while. So I've got a little pack of goodies that'll be going off with this journal so that the lady who's bought it can decide if she would like to stick a few more of these bits and pieces in there. And yeah, so there's quite a few little bits and pieces there, that little cute little girl. And I also printed off a few from my vintage book pages, so I've got a few bits like that in this pile. So there's a few little goodies there to go through when that arrives. And that's it. That's the flip through of my recently finished journal, and I'm hoping to get one of my wallpaper journals finished pretty soon, probably in the next few days. So I'll do a flip through of that, and I will see you guys again soon. So have a great afternoon. Bye.